Hello, my name is Ribeiro. I am a researcher at the University of Lisbon. I'm here on behalf of my colleagues and I will present our work entitled Investigating Virtual Reality Locomotion Techniques with Blind People. The interest in virtual environments through VR is growing rapidly, with many applications in many different domains such as gaming, education, healthcare, among others. It is essential that everyone can benefit from and be a part of VR experiences. Locomotion is a crucial element in VR, enabling users to navigate and explore the virtual world. Numerous techniques have been proposed and implemented, such as walking in place or teleport, offering a diverse range of experiences. However, there is limited knowledge of their accessibility for blind people, where the current focus is on the perspectives and uses of sighted people. For example, picture stepping into a VR multiplayer online game, navigating through complex environments with various interactions. When we take visual feedback away, it poses significant challenges for blind people to both understand and navigate the environment, making them likely inaccessible due to the reliance on visual feedback. For this reason, researchers have focused on using specialized equipment or developing and evaluating custom-made applications. While the approaches provide valuable contributions, they are generally unavailable in current VR applications due to the need for custom hardware or because the prototypes are used in research contexts alone. Understanding the potential that the most popular locomotion techniques have to support accessible experiences may increase and diversify blind people's access to mainstream VR experiences. In this paper, we investigated how three popular locomotion techniques support blind people navigating VR environments: arm swinging, linear movement, and point and teleport, which represent the most common and explored types of locomotion techniques, respectively walking-based, steering-based, and selection-based. The three techniques were augmented with audio and haptic feedback for accessibility. I will quickly describe the techniques and the augmentations, providing examples of the auditory feedback. Arm swinging is a technique where users are required to move their arms while standing in place and pressing the trigger buttons. The headset orientation gives the direction, and the velocity of the avatar depends on how fast users move their arms. Regarding the cues, we have included footstep sounds to convey walking speed and terrain type. For instance, the footsteps in the gravel terrain emit a unique sound, as shown in this example. We have also included collision cues, which are announced with a bumping sound and a vibration of the controllers. In the following example, a user collides front-facing an obstacle. This is complemented with haptic feedback, which if the user collides front-facing an obstacle, both controllers vibrate, but the bumping sound only persists if the user continues to walk against the obstacle. However, when the user is not stopped by an obstacle, the footsteps are no longer mute. In the example, the user's right shoulder is colliding with an obstacle. Regarding haptic feedback, only the right controller vibrates. Linear movement or joystick-based steering is a technique which relies on the controller's thumbstick to indicate the walking direction. Similarly to arm swinging, rotation is given by headset orientation, meaning that the user can still rotate physically. The velocity depends on the force applied to the thumbstick, which, slightly pushing it forward, will result in walking slowly. Like in arm swinging, the implemented cues include footsteps and collisions. However, in this technique, we have also included a wind sound to indicate forward movement, which was intended to prevent veering. The following example shows this feature and also illustrates when the user is veering, causing the wind sound to stop. And finally, point and teleport. This technique relies on the controller to point to a specific destination, instantly placing the user at the intended location after pressing and releasing the trigger button. The user can also adjust the teleport distance by pointing the controller upward for a greater distance or downward for a shorter one. These actions are also augmented with audio feedback. In particular, a specialized sound is emitted from the teleport destination when pointing to teleport, indicating both direction and proximity. In the example, the louder the sound, the closer the destination will be for the user. To provide additional feedback on the distance traveled, the length of the sound varies, meaning that longer the teleport, longer the sound. Also note that one footstep sound is emitted to convey the terrain where the user landed after teleport. In the example, the user will gradually increase the distance of the teleportation by pointing the controller upward. In addition, the user feels a subtle vibration in the controller used for pointing when reaching the maximum teleportation range. Finally, to detect obstacles, a bumping sound is emitted when pointing to a location where teleportation is impossible. We conducted a user study to understand how these techniques support or not blind people navigating VR environments. In particular, we wanted to understand the differences among the three techniques in terms of performance and user preference, and the advantages of each technique and how users' interactions and strategies impact performance. Our VR prototype was developed using Unity and the Oculus integration package running on the Meta Quest 2. We recruited 14 blind participants, where 2 participants were excluded from the quantitative analysis due to fatigue or high residual vision, but their comments were also considered. The study had a within subjects design, where all participants executed a navigation task with 3 different conditions, in which the order of each condition was counterbalanced. For each task, participants were asked to reach 5 objectives as quickly as possible, with each objective having a 3-minute time limit. These objectives emit a specialized sound, enabling participants to understand their location. If unsuccessful to reach an objective, a corresponding sound would play, and the avatar would be positioned on the objective location, ensuring all participants start from the same position. The following image shows this scenario, where the dashed lines represent the repositioning of the avatar after passing the time limit. Our methodology revolves around quantitative analysis involving participants' task performance and self-reported ratings, and qualitative analysis based on semi-structured interviews and observations. Our quantitative analysis revealed no significant differences among techniques in the performance metrics: the number of objectives reached, completion time, and distance traveled. All techniques enabled participants to reach the targets, where 11 participants reached at least 12 of the 15 objectives. However, our study revealed that participants' performance was highly user-dependent, as for instance, point and teleport resulted in both the fastest, where participant 1 completed a task within 46 seconds, and the slowest, where participant 2 could not complete the task. Similarly, preferences were balanced across users and were often aligned with performance, but not always. For example, participant 1 preferred linear movement, but was much faster with point and teleport. As for the tasks, they were marked as easy to complete by most participants, and all techniques had high similar values for efficiency, fun, comfort, and accessibility. To comprehend the impact and advantages of each technique, we turn to our qualitative findings, leading us to identify the following 5 themes: preferences, controlling movement, dealing with direction, body language, and feedback cues and understanding the environment. I will not delve into the details of these themes in this presentation, but please refer to the paper for a detailed description of these themes. In this video, I will focus on the 7 lessons learned that reflect these findings. Arm swinging, linear movement, and point and teleport can support accessible VR experiences with appropriate audio and haptic design. Participants showed the ability to reach the objectives with all techniques in a simple task. The following image shows the path of participant 1 using the arm swinging technique, effectively reaching the 5 objectives, using the obstacle as a guide to reach the final one. Regarding these findings, designers may select and implement popular techniques that support accessible experiences with little additional effort, using our adaptations as a starting point. Body rotation makes interactions even simpler. Body rotation prevailed over other orientation methods, such as only rotating the head or moving sideways. For instance, in the linear movement technique, most participants only pushed the thumbstick forward, forgetting to move in other directions. By doing this, they focused only on the body rotation to reach the objectives. As P1 states, as I was told that I would therefore walk forward when the joystick was in that direction, I always tried to use the movement of my body. I didn't even think. Arm swinging is perceived to provide greater awareness and control of movement. P5 said, the arm movement really is as if you were walking. Participants reported having greater control of movement with arm swinging despite moving at a constant maximum speed. With this knowledge, designers may increase such values to provide greater speed variations, potentially improving the control over movement. Point and teleport has great potential for efficiency but may require additional training. This technique enables users to quickly move to a desired destination within a specific range in any direction. For example, P1 performed consecutive jumps as shown in the following example. However, it was the most efficient technique only for a small subset of participants, mostly caused by its complexity. Designers may create mechanisms to speed up learning when needed. Specific body language may affect performance. We saw differences in body language with point and teleport, where participants struggled to point the controller straight ahead, and arm swinging, where participants suggested a different movement. As P14 said, instead of up-down, it could perhaps be a different technique, front-back. In fact, it could even combine the two issues, which is this almost rotational movement, which in the end is probably even closer to walking, so maybe this is a more bicycle-like movement. Point and teleport can be designed to support scanning the surroundings. This technique offers a unique option to scan the surroundings without moving in the virtual environment. The following images show participants taking advantage of the interactive design of point and teleport, detecting obstacles and assess their distance, supporting their decisions through more effective paths around the obstacles. Veering is also a problem in virtual navigation. Veering was the cause of most cases where participants missed an objective or circled it repeatedly. The following images show this behavior. In one of them, we see an extreme case of a participant using the point and teleport, where circled the second objective numerous times, ultimately exceeded the time limit and was repositioned to the objective location. To conclude, we implemented 3 popular VR locomotion techniques and augmented them with auditory and haptic cues for accessibility. We performed a user study aiming to compare the 3 techniques in terms of performance and preferences, as well as to understand their relative advantages and strategies they support. Results show that both performance and preferences were highly user-dependent, and ultimately, they also show that popular techniques can be accessible to blind people as long as appropriate audio and haptic cues are included. If considered by design, these cues may pave the way for more accessible VR experiences. Thank you for listening.